Hello, denizens of the internet. I was invited to see a new independent movie produced by Carlos de los Rios along with my friend Robert Meyer Burnett called White Devils. A very provocative title, and the movie lives up to it. I also had the pleasure of interviewing Robert about the film. I'm going to start with my review, and then please stick around for my very entertaining conversation with Robert. White Devils is a film adaptation of Reza Dawet's play Dieppe Grande, which was originally performed back in 1985. It was, surrounded by controversy back then, and after seeing its film adaptation, it's not hard to see why. I have absolutely no connection to South Africa, but most of us are familiar with echoes of its history, and the movie does not feel any less impactful now. History is history, and while the play and movie is not about a historical event, it does not try to hide its metaphorical apartheid elements. It's one of the things plays do extremely well, but, for the most part, movies less so. I'm happy to say, and happy is a strange word to use here, as this psychological horror thriller packs a punch and had its intended effect on this squeamish filmgoer. It stars Damon Shalit, Chella Farrow, Johnny Coyne, and Connie Jackson in the main roles, and in the minor but significant roles, that went to Maria Olsen and Glenn A. Vaughn. The film was directed by Gabriel Bologna. The screenplay was by Damon Shalit. Unfortunately, I can't reveal the story or the relationships of the characters because it will give away the story. I will use the simple description on their promotional website instead. When the executor of a will comes to investigate why a once prosperous South African homestead has turned to rack and ruin, he uncovers a dark secret buried in the evils of apartheid, putting his own life in peril. I think that describes things quite well. And going back to the play versus film comment I made earlier, while I never saw the play, I can't imagine the performances in the movie were any less brave and disturbing, and it comes through powerfully, undiluted by its change of medium. The commitment by Chella Farrow as Susie, to her character especially, and the performance by Damon Shalit as Frickie is not something you will soon forget. Poor bumbling Mr. Grove, played by Johnny Coyne, has no idea what's in store for him. But if you want scary, that award will have to go to Maria Olsen's performance. And I won't even tell you what character she plays, because that might even give too much away. Connie Jackson plays Alina, the black housekeeper, who remains loyal to Frickie and Susie in their destitute state. It's a small but important part, especially when Mr. Grove arrives. Any of you who might be thinking, oh no, it's a polemic about South African apartheid, not to worry, it's not. Sure, it's there. It's the backdrop the movie is set against. All I can say is you will remember this film, and if you go with someone, you'll definitely be talking about it. I have seen several low-budget independent films of late, and they have been upping their game as Hollywood stumbles through remakes and endless sequels during what might charitably be called the most uncreative period in Hollywood's history. I have no qualms recommending White Devil. Now, on to my interview with Robert Meyer Burnett.
I'd like to introduce all of you to Robert Meyer Burnett, a good friend of mine. I can say good friend, right?
You can say good friend. And I'm an admirer of yours as well.
Well, we admire each other, which is the best way to be. This is the very best way to be.
Especially in this day and age.
True. And Robert has got a co-producer. Can I say co-producer on a movie, White Devils.
Yes.
And
White
that's
Devils.
A really intriguing title. And Rob sent me the film. And the reason we're talking is because I liked it. I can't do the fake thing. If I
can't
didn't
either.
enjoy it, we wouldn't be talking.
Sure. And I appreciate that. I mean, it's certainly not for everybody.
No, it's a scary film in many ways. So I want to talk about White Devils. That's what we're promoting here and talking about it. And you produced it along with Carlos de los Rios.
Yes. And we have a lot of other.
Tell me a little bit about the movie.
Well, what's interesting about this film is it's actually based on a play written by South African playwright Reza DeWitt, and she passed away, unfortunately. And she was an outspoken voice against, obviously, apartheid, and she's very well known in South Africa, not so well known outside of South Africa. And the director of White Devils, Gabe Bologna, through various circumstances, I ended up meeting Gabe in 2016, and he had finished directing a movie that was called Tango Shalom, now Forbidden Tango, which you can watch on Amazon. And I ended up editing that film for him, and I ended up doing a lot more. So he's like, you're producing this movie. And I said, well, I wasn't involved with the actual making of the film, but in terms of post-production and in terms of getting it out into the world, I did everything from VFX supervision to the post-production supervision. I edited the film. And so I definitely earned, and I was there it took us 5 years. The whole Odyssey was 5 years long. So I definitely earned my producer credit. And Gabe had also made this film. This was White Devils was a very micro budget movie based on the play Deep Grond, I think in Afrikaans, it was called African Gothic. Which would have been the wrong title for it here in the States. But they had made that, and it's kind of a similar situation to Forbidden Tango in that it wasn't really entirely finished. And Gabe asked me to help. And so his friend Carlos de los Rios, Carlos is a great writer, and Gabe and Carlos had been collaborating on a script. They wrote an incredible adaptation of William Faulkner's A Fable that's in play right now. A lot of interest on that script. And so Carlos came in, and I came in, and a Casey came in who cut the trailer and then was also helping put the movie sort of back together. And it was interesting. So Carlos, he's not credited, but he was directing second unit of me when we were adding a little bit more violence into the film. I called a effects friend of mine, Vinny Gastini, at his effects company, and we needed someone getting flogged in the film, and I'm the one getting flogged.
So you volunteered.
I volunteered, and Carlos ended up directing me getting flogged.
That sounds very S&M.
It was wild.
You volunteered a little too quickly, Robert.
Well, to be fair,
I'll do it.
I did match physically. My torso looked like the actor's, Johnny Coyne's torso, so I kind of different skin pigmentation, but when your back is torn up and you're bleeding. Yeah. So, and it's kind of all hands on deck with these micro budget movies. Right. And sometimes I've been involved with a lot of movies that have sat on shelves that you never see. They never see the light of day, unfortunately. And we didn't want White Devils to suffer that fate. And so everybody really worked hard and got it out, and we finished the film, and I'm quite proud of it. Massimo, the director of photography, also Massimo Zeri shot Forbidden Tango, so I'd already been a big fan of his cinematography, and this film I think it has a great look to it. It's very since it's set in South Africa, it has a very hot look to it, and as if it's steamy hot. So he did a fantastic job, and I mean, he worked with some of the Italian masters back in Italy. So it's a great little group of filmmakers, and it's great that we finally got this movie finished. And
I could tell that it was from a play, but I didn't find it oppressively so. And
which is good. Thank you.
And mostly you could tell it was a play because the long shots and how well everyone was able to execute the dialogue, as opposed to cut. Okay.
Right.
Clearly they know their lines, and this has that play feel where the camera could linger on a two shot and not excessively cut to all sorts of different reactions. There's not a lot of people in the cast to cut
No.
away from to begin with, but yeah, it's very gritty, very surprising. And as I will say in my review, it's hard to describe because I don't know what I can say without giving anything away.
Yeah, it's
one of the things I like about it most is that it could have been a mystery box, and the punchline to this could have been kept to the end.
yes,
But no, this is so well written, and this is my argument. Open up the mystery box at the very beginning, and let's see the cast and actors react to the conundrum that they're stuck in.
absolutely. And what's
And
really
that's what this is. It's a scary movie, which is why I think you're releasing it on Halloween.
Yeah, we're doing a worldwide online VOD premiere of this movie. Trying to go through proper distribution channels for a movie like this that's really, it's low budget. It doesn't look low budget. I mean, you see it's a very slick movie, but it doesn't fit into anyone's analytics these days. So we figured we'd get the word out and see if we can drum up some interest in it and maybe make a few bucks at the same time. It has a really interesting, the male lead in the film, Damon Shallet, who plays Fricky. He wrote the screenplay.
Right.
He adapted Reza DeWitt's play, and he also is the lead actor. Now, normally you want to be, I don't know, steer clear of those kinds of things, but he's terrific. The cast in this movie, Chella Farrow, Donnie Coyne, really, and Connie Jackson, the four main characters are all really incredible. And that was one thing when I heard about the movie and when I first looked at the footage and stuff, I said, wow, this is really, for what it is, it's really impressive. And these people they did a great job with it. And was
it shot in South Africa?
No.
Okay.
No, it wasn't shot in South Africa. And you know what it reminded me of? I don't know if you know, Tracy Letts wrote Bug and Killer Joe that William Friedkin adapted from his plays into movies. And I was thinking about both of those films working on this because it had that Killer Joe's pretty extreme, but same with Bug. I mean, there were smaller movies that were really based around the performances and the writing. So no, I'm not trying to equate our movies with what Tracy Letts did and what William Friedkin did. Much bigger budget and of course name actors, but I wanted to aspire to that, and say, okay, this is the kind of thing that we can do. And I'm really proud. It's taken a while, because everyone's working in their spare time whenever they can, getting things done. And there was things that we did that we added and that we actually gave chapter headings, which wasn't in the play. And just, we've added some things that I think really helped the movie move along. And we kept it down to a lean 90 minutes. So I think all of that really worked out.
It was, I'm going to say hard to watch only because it's not my genre.
Right.
But that's actually a compliment. No, so if you what is the movie where the woman was stuck in the room? It's
just called Room with Brie Larson.
Brie Larson.
Yeah.
It has a feeling of that. It's claustrophobic.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's disturbing, but in the way that the movie needs to be.
Yes, I love hearing that.
And it couldn't be any other. I'm going, oh my God. And I can't say too much about it because if I describe a single aspect of it, it's actually going to give away the movie. You really need to see it. I've now seen a whole bunch of indie movies. Every single one was good. We have a new revolution that's happening, I think partly due to technology. You no longer need this gigantic, airy 35 millimeter camera. There's so many kids coming out of school that know how to shoot.
Yeah, and I think that's what social media has done. You look at the brothers that made Bring Her Back and Talk to Me, the horror films that the Australian brothers made.
Okay.
Very well done. And then now, with an iPhone 17, you get 3 or 4 of those and you can shoot something that's going to look, especially with those lens packages, you can add on, and you're shooting in 4K.
And the sound is good.
Mm-hmm.
Sound is great. I mean, it's and that's really one of the things that people have to concentrate on almost more than the cinematography.
Yeah, I mean,
you're better off with better sound.
We have our sound designer, Steve Yeaman. He was the same sound designer that worked on Tango Shalom. He also wrote the score, the music score for this. And he is a real stickler. I mean, one of the great things about this movie is it has a really lush soundtrack in both
but it's not obtrusive.
No.
Which is the sign of a good soundtrack.
Yeah, and I was really surprised. And he redid it. He actually redid the soundtrack. And it was one way, and then after we really started working the movie again, he made it. He's like, I want to go back and basically start over, and he did, and it's really incredible. He also had he's always getting new plugins to make the dialogue sound sharper, and I think you're absolutely right. One of the things, I mean, obviously in this day and age, when something is not technically up to snuff, it really can detract from the way things look, and the way, because we're so used to getting such great quality.
Any plans on taking this on the circuit, what do you call it,
like the film festival circuit?
Yeah.
The thing about the film, and I've taken movies on horror films on the film festival circuit. My comedy Free Enterprise obviously was a film festival, a movie that I went all around the world with. The problem with film festivals now is they're not really looking for indie movies. I hate to say that. What they're looking for is movies that have stars in them. They want recognizable people to get people to come to the film festival. This film, while I think it has great actors, they're not exactly household names. And like Johnny Cohen's going to be, who's great in the movie. You might recognize him from things like in The Mandalorian, but the movie's such a low budget film, and I think that it's not really, we figured we wouldn't really get into film festivals because it is kind of this weird little movie. And the days, like, I kind of came of age in the latter half of the 80s and the beginning of the 90s, where you had Steven Soderbergh making a Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
Right. That was a great movie.
Terrific movie. And then Quentin Tarantino, of course, did Reservoir Dogs, and I saw Spike Lee's She's Gotta Have It, which was a movie that really knocked me out. I mean, I know nothing about a black woman living in Brooklyn that had multiple boyfriends. But after I saw Spike Lee's movie, I was growing up in Seattle, I'm like, this was so alien to me. But the movie it had such a great voice and such a great personality. I'm like, who is this Spike Lee person? And he made a movie that I wouldn't normally have gone to, that I thought was delightful. And
but we saw those movies in the theater.
Yes.
So did they get bought at a festival and then got stuck in the theater?
I think so. And I think that a lot of those things, but back, it's funny, you think about the 80s, almost 40 years ago, when She's Gotta Have It came out, but you still had people that remembered like John Cassavetes' movie.
Right.
Like working with Jenna Rollins, what he was doing, and The Killing of a Chinese Bookie or something. And that world has gone away.
Getting back to this movie, I really enjoyed it.
Well, thank you. I mean,
good luck with it. Is there anything else you wanted to say? I mean, the one thing I do want to say one thing. The scariest person in it is Maria Olsen. I'm just reading it off my notes here. I won't tell you who she is, because I think that might even give too much away.
Yes. And she is, I mean, again, terrific. Doesn't have a huge part in the film, but she's scary.
Yeah.
And she's kind of left the business. I've heard. Gabe told me she kind of left the business, but
she's good. I mean,
she's really good. I mean, again, the performances. One of the things I love about working with Gabe Bologna, the director, is he was an actor himself when he was younger, and he's very in tune to performance. He's really able to elicit great performances on set. And then when we get in the edit bay, what's fun working with him is he doesn't waffle around. He's like, nah, that take's okay, and that other take's so. He's like, no, that's the take. And it's really fun to work with him in the edit bay.
Well,
because he finds those great.
Say hi to Gabe for me. I've never met him.
I will totally say hi to Gabe.
But we're good friends, because
So White Devils, we're gonna have a VOD premiere starting midnight on Halloween, and we'll have it available for 3 days to watch for anybody around the world when you pay your $8.99, and you can watch the film. And I hope that we can drum up some interest and people like it. And if people don't like it either, I hope they'll voice their opinion. You know, it's just great to get the work out there and have everybody put a lot of time into this movie, and I think it shows. So it's going to be great to get it out into the world.
Looks great. The acting is great. It's scary in a psycho kind of way, disturbing in all the right ways.
It is kind of a family psychodrama. if it had to fit into some genre.
Right. And the last thing I'll say about it is that if you watch it alone, you're going to think about it. And if you watch it as a couple with someone else, you're going to talk about it. I guarantee you
that's about the best review I can imagine getting.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much, Robert. Let's do this again.
Well, I hope to make another movie so we can do it again. And I want to thank you for your continued interest in the things I'm working on. You were very kind about our audio drama earlier in 2025.
Oh, I loved it. Oh my gosh. I've told so many people about True Noir. It was really well done. And hopefully something comes of that. I'm a huge radio fan. I've been listening to Bob and Ray, and there's just so much out there that no one cares about anymore.
We can keep the flames burning. The fires.
Right. We'll set ourselves on fire.
Yeah. At some point, I think that's what it's going to come to. At least we can monetize it on social media.
Once.
Once could be enough.
Well, thank you very much, denizens. This has been Call Me Chato. And thank you very much, Robert. So till next time, be seeing you.
Thank you, sir.